Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare हरे नाम संकीर्तन की जय हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयामुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः So today is the appearance of Srimad Ramanujacharya. So we'll discuss something about Srimad Ramanujacharya in line with Shastras. So I'll just repeat whatever I heard from Prabhu Radhanath Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada about Srimad Ramanujacharya and Vishishtadvaita philosophy. Little bit about philosophy we'll discuss. And so here is Chaitanya Charitamrita statement. So Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he reached Shivakanchi. So this is from Madhya Lila. Shivakanchi Asya Kaila Shiva Darshan Prabhave Vaishnava Kaila Sabha Shaivagan. Arriving at Shivakanchi, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visited the deity of Lord Shiva. By his influence, he converted all the devotees of Lord Shiva into Vaishnavas. Purport: Shivakanchi is also known as Kanchipuram or the Benares of South India. In the In Shivaganchi, there are hundreds of temples containing symbolic representations of Lord Shiva. And one of these temples is said to be very, very old. Vishnu Ganchi Ashi Dekila Lakshmi Narayana Pranama Kariya Kaila Bahuta Sthavana. Then the Lord then visited a holy place known as Vishnu Ganchi. There he saw Lakshmi Narayana deities and he offered his respects and many prayers to please them. But Vishnu Kanchi is situated about 5 miles away from Kanchipuram. It is here that Lord Vardaraja, another form of Lord Vishnu, resides. There is also a big lake known as Ananta Sarovara. Prema Veshendritya Gita Bahuta Karila Dina Dui Rahi Loke Krishna Bhakta Kaila. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stayed at Vishnu Kanchi for 2 days, he danced and performed kirtana in ecstasy. When all the people saw him, they were converted into devotees of Lord Krishna. So I'll just quote some Shastric statements in relation to appearance of Sripad Ramanujacharya, and then we'll discuss about the appearance pastime of Sripad, and also some of his pastimes and lessons from his pastimes, and then we'll discuss about his pastime of leaving the school and conclude after that. So there is a statement. Yo nityamachyuta padambuja yugma rukma vyamohata saditarani trinaya mene asmad guror bhagavato asya dayaika sindo Ramanujasya charanau sharanam prabhajye. I take refuge at the feet of our Guru Bhagavan Ramanuja, that ocean of mercy, who infatuated with the gold-like lotus feet of the Lord, considered all else as mere blades of grass. So there is a statement of Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur. In an article entitled Circumambulation of Sri Brajamandal, printed November 1931, Chaitanya Era, 445 in the Harmonious magazine, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta mentions Sri Ramanujacharya as follows. Sri Ramanuja, the incarnation of Ananta, who took birth in the month of Chaitra, that is April, May, under the 6th lunar mansion in the Tandi Rates, and who came upon this earth to establish the philosophy of Sri Vishnu. So there is one more statement. In the Yadavachala Mahatmyam, Ananta pratamam rupam lakshmanaschalat tatapara balabhadram tirtiyashu kalau kaschit bhavishyati. It is the same who was Adishesha first, Lakshmana after, and Balarama in the third, who is born as Sri Ramanuja in the Kali Yuga. This Kaschit is taken by our Acharyas as referring to Ramanuja. So there is a statement of Padma Purana also about Sripad Ramanujacharya. Long afterwards, the Lord himself will come down as on earth as a Tridanda Sannyasi to restore the good law. At that time, heretics and men of perverted intellects will confuse the minds of the people. Asuric Shastras, based upon fallacious arguments and various schools of thought, very attractive and almost indistinguishable from the Vedanta, will turn indistinguishable, means very much similar to Vedanta, will turn away men's hearts from Vishnu and cause them to forget his glory. That glorious incarnation will, through the good fortune of the Lord's devotees, come down upon earth to explain and amplify the teachings of the great sage Badarayana and the divine singer of the Gita. The Holy One would compose a bhashya on the Vyasa Sutras to save men from the confusion and despair caused by spurious doctrines and lead them to the true faith. This Padma Purana about Sripad. Audio device is there. Audio is there. Audio. Audio. I'll just play one of the lecture of Parampuja Radhanath Swami. Just one statement of Parampuja Radhanath Swami Maharaj. Because the way Maharaj introduces, we can't introduce. Certainly not.
From that time, Satyuga, Bhagavatam, most now I'd like to speak something about some of the great acharyas that had such an impact in the world and in our life. Now I'd like to speak something about some of the great acharyas that had such an impact in the world and in our lives, especially Srimad Ramanujacharya. Sri Ramanujacharya resided here in Kanchipuram, daily worshipped Sri Dakuraj. Before attempting to describe the life of Sri Ramanujacharya, we will speak briefly about some of the well-known incidents in the life of his Guru Maharaj. Renunciate, which began with Now I would like to speak briefly on his most prominent disciple, who had such a major impact in human society, and by whose life and teachings has a very deep effect on all of our lives. His name, Sri Ramanujacharya. In Srila Prabhupada's books, he praises Ramanujacharya. Jiva Goswami very deeply drew from Ramanujacharya's teachings to write his Sandarbhas. In fact, his philosophy is so very close to the Achintya Veda Veda Tattva philosophy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. According to Vedas, we learn that long ago the Brahmins became corrupt. They were misusing the knowledge of Vedas for their own selfish purposes. Because you see, the common people did not know Sanskrit. It was only very high-class Brahmins who knew Sanskrit.
So Maharaj was saying how the Vishishtadvaita philosophy is very much similar to Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva. So Prabhupada mentions in one of his conversations, that just as there is sun planet and sunshine, so there is oneness and difference. So sunshine is a Vishishtata of the Advaita, that is the sun globe. So Supreme Lord is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Satchidananda Vigraha, Infinite Spirit, and He manifests in different variegatedness, Visheshta. So at the same time, this Vishishta, this variegatedness is not the same as the Advaita, that Supreme Lord. So this is a philosophy Srila Prabhupada mentions. So it is very much similar to Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva. And we know the situation that how this parampara system, Maharaj was mentioning, that how parampara system in Kali Yuga was being misused by the Brahmanas. And there was so much of animal killing on the name of Vedas. And after that, Lord Buddha appeared. And he has stopped animal killing. And then by the arrangement of Lord Shankaracharya appeared, and he drove away Buddhism. But Prachanna Bodham, Mayavadam Asat Shastram Prachanna Bodham, it is a covered Buddhism. So it brought back importance of Vedas, but at the same time the conclusion is Buddhism, covered Buddhism. It's a covered Buddhism, or the conclusion is Buddhism, the same atheistic concept. So it was Sripad, more than anyone else, established that personality is the essence. So two very important principles Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu takes from Sri Sampradaya. So one is pure devotional service, untainted by karma and jnana, and humble service to Vaishnavas. These two aspects Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu takes from Sri Sampradaya. So we'll discuss about the appearance of Sripad Ramanujacharya. So Emnacharya is a very empowered Acharya in the line of Sri Sampradaya. So he has one of dearmost, very prominent dearmost disciple, whose name is Shailapurna. there are very famous personalities. Shailapurna, and then later on we'll see there is a very exalted personality, Kanchipurna, and there is Mahapurna also. Very, very exalted personalities, all these disciples of Yamunacharya. So Shailapurna has two sisters. One is Khanti Mata and Dyuti Mata. So Kanti Mata and Keshavacharya. Kanti Mata was married to Keshavacharya, and they went to Parsardi temple for a child, and they did great sacrifices and yagnas. And finally, in the year 1017 AD, according to the present calculation, 1017, in the place of Sri Perumbudur, so Sripad Ramanujacharya appeared on this planet. So Shailapurna, when he saw this personality, he understood that it's not an ordinary personality. So, and he gave the name Ramanuja. That means the brother of Lord Ramachandra, that is Lakshmana. So, and like he was married to Raksha Kambala, and after a month, when Keshavacharya left this world at the age of 16 years, he left for Kanchipuram. He left Sri Perumbudur for Kanchipuram. So, and there is a very, very historical incident of Sripad Ramanujacharya meeting Kanchipurna. So he's a boy who was studying in a school, and as a boy, when he was coming from the school, he saw Kanchipurna, and he invited him to honor to his home to honor prasadam. And Ramanujacharya personally served prasadam, and like one of the point he made that I wanted to massage your lotus feet. He told to Kanchipurna. A very, very great personality, Kanchipurna, pure devotee of Supreme Lord, who always fans Bharadraj in Kanchipuram. So, and he has a conversation, direct conversation with the deity also, deity of Bharadraj. So, he's even externally he is born in a low family, Shudra family, but a very, very exalted personality, actually. So even in those times where the caste is very much, those times the caste is very much prominent in rating persons, but uh, like very exalted brahmanas also used to honor him, respect him, adore him because of his exalted position. So once when Sripad Ramanujacharya requested Kanchipurna that I wanted to massage your lotus feet, so then he said, I am a Shudra and you are a Brahmana. How can you do this service to me? So then Sripad Ramanujacharya says, if my being born in Brahmana family doesn't allow me to worship you, then being Brahmana is most inauspicious and condemned. So Sripad Ramanujacharya says, and then Kanchipurna becomes very much um, appreciative of the divine qualities of Sripad Ramanujacharya. So, he joins a school of Mayavad, Yadav Prakash, because that is the only school that is available in Kanchipuram. So, and by his divine qualities, he became very, very dear to Yadav Prakash. He has so much grasping ability, like whatever has been taught, he immediately grasps. And at the same time, because of that itself, Yadav Prakash became very, very, very attractive, very much attracted to Sripad Ramanujacharya. And apart from that, he was very humble and respectful, and that made him all the more attractive, the divine qualities. So But the problem was Yadav Prakash was the staunch follower of Advaita philosophy, that is Shankaracharya. So, so the days were going on in the school. So once Yadav Prakash, when he heard a statement from his student about a description of the eye of the Supreme Lord. So actually there is a Sanskrit. So he takes that particular understanding of eye of Supreme Lord as in a very very offensive way, as a rear end of a monkey. So and when Sripad when he hears that particular understanding, he he doesn't speak anything. He's massaging feet of Yadav Prakash, but the hot tears fall from his eyes out of pain of that grave offense. And the moment it fell on the feet of Yadav Prakash, he could feel it and he could sense it. That what happened? Why you are so much worried? What is the problem? What is the problem? Like that he starts saying. But of course, Sripad Ramanujacharya, he doesn't say anything at that point. And then he tells that later on that, after a minute, after some moments, he tells that he describes how this particular Sanskrit sloka describes that eye of the Supreme Lord is like the reddish hue of the lotus flower. So Yadav Prakash could not defeat, but there is a first confrontation between both of them, Yadav Prakash and Sripad Ramanujacharya. So, and of course, sometimes the things became very very disturbed for Yadav Prakash, that he could not tolerate. And one of the class he started saying about absolute truth, that absolute truth doesn't have any form, it doesn't have any uh, qualities, attributes. So all these things he started telling. And Sripad Ramanujacharya again confronted. He proved the personal aspects, that how the Supreme Personality of Godhead is Sachidananda Vigraha. जय श्री श्री निताय गौरांग भगवान की जय, प्रहलाद नरसिंह देव की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. So the Supreme Lord has the divine form, qualities, and the attributes. So, and that was like too much for when he was being defeated in front of all his disciples. It was too much for Yadav Prakash to take it. He could not again argue on that particular statement, which was been spoken by Sripad. So then he decided to decided in a very terrible way. He came to a very terrible decision of murdering Sripad Ramanujacharya. So he planned for one yatra to take all the disciples to a yatra, and there wanted to do the attempt the most heinous activity. So of course there is a pastime of how all the disciples, there are some faithful disciples of this Yadav Prakash. So they were discussing along with among themselves, and there is Govinda, who is actually brother of Sripad Ramanujacharya. Like Ramanujacharya was born to Kanti Mata, and Govinda was born to Dyuti Mata. So he's brother of Sripad Ramanujacharya. So he heard about the plan, about what all they are planning, and he tells to Sripad Ramanujacharya, and in his pastimes he goes out of that place, and he starts walking into the forest. And there, of course, there is a divine pastime. He meets one hunter and his wife, and he starts talking to them, and the wife of the hunter becomes very much thirsty. And then Sripad Ramanujacharya goes up the hill and he brings one full pot of water. And the wife of the hunter takes that one pot. And again he goes, because the thirst is still not fulfilled. Again he goes, one more pot, second pot, third pot. And finally when he came with the fourth pot, they both are not there. And when he saw behind, there is the temple of Kanchipuram. So he understood that both of them are none other than Lakshmi Narayana. So, and the yatra of Yadav Prakash gets completed. And during their yatra, they tell Govinda that internally they feel very, very happy that the thinking Ramanujacharya was left the body. And they start they start pacifying Govinda that, soul is eternal, soul never dies. So, so there is no need to worry. And ultimately he merges in Brahman. So all this he started telling to uh, his disciple Govinda. Yadav Prakash was telling to his disciple. And when the yatra was over, when they came back, so they saw Sripad Ramanujacharya and they're like so miserable. And they're saying, "Oh, Sripad, oh, Ramanujacharya, we thought, you're dead. We thought you're lost, We are very happy that you're back, but internally they're feeling so much of pain. That why is he not still dead?" So, and of course, again, Sripad Ramanujacharya continued, like very humble. The level of humility you can see after understanding the entire plan and all that uh, murder attempt. Still, he continued to be under Yadav Prakash. So, so one day, what happened was one of the ghosts haunted the princess of Chola king. So this princess became practically very very insane. So then Yadav Prakash, apart from being a Mayavadi and having this school, he's a very expert mystic, and he's very famous for driving away ghosts. So he's been called for driving away the ghosts in the body of this princess. And he started applying all the mystic powers and the different attempts, and ghost didn't leave the body of that princess. And the ghost through that princess spoke that Yadav Prakash, you are a fool. So so then Yadav Prakash became very much offended, and he tried. He said that this ghost said that I have more powers than you. So your powers are nothing. And then he tried all the more with full powers and full enthusiasm, but nothing worked. So then Yadav Prakash, when he was still trying, so that time the ghost spoke. Actually, you cannot do anything, and it is your pure disciple of yours, Sripad Ramanujacharya. If he comes and keeps his divine lotus feet on my head, then I can leave this body. So, and this, the ghost spoke in front of everybody. The king is right there. The king is right there. In the assembly, when he was trying to drive away the ghost. So, because of the social pressure, he had to call for Sripad Ramanujacharya. And then the ghost immediately bowed down, made that princess bowed down at the lotus feet of Sripad Ramanujacharya. And then Sripad Ramanujacharya said, "So how we understand that you left the body, you leave this body?" So then the ghost said that after leaving this body, I'll go and break the topmost branch of a particular tree. So, and then when Sripad Ramanujacharya keeps his divine lotus feet on the head of this ghost haunted princess, then immediately, there is a sound, of breaking of that branch of the tree. And then, the ghost is then this princess was saved from the ghost. Srimad Ramanujacharya ki jai. So, and that made Yadav Prakash was like very, very, very envious and very, very insulted. So, and after that, when there was one more confrontation, he expelled him from the school. So, so that happened at the age of 18 years. So then later on, Sripad Ramanujacharya went to Kanchipurna, and he wanted to take learnings from Kanchipurna. So then Kanchipurna said, actually, I can't teach any shastras for you. I don't know anything. I'm a simple person, and you are a Brahmana. So like that, out of humility, he spoke, even though he knows the entire conclusion of the shastras. So then Sripad Ramanujacharya, he makes a very powerful statement. So for small-minded people, more they gain knowledge in scriptures, more they become puffed up instead of awakening devotion. So for small-minded people, more they gain knowledge in scriptures, more they become puffed up instead of awakening devotion for the Supreme Lord. So we know the story of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he went to South India, Sri Rangam temple. In the Sri Rangam temple, he met South Indian Brahmana. So he saw that devotion within the heart of South Indian Brahmana, and because of that, he bestowed his causeless mercy. He embraced him for his pure devotion, and by mercy of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he understood that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Supreme Personality of Godhead. Who understood? The South Indian Brahmana understood. So South Indian Brahmana, just as he understood Supreme Personality of Godhead's divine qualities as Parthasarathi, his Supreme Personality acting as Parthasarathi. So to the extent one understands Krishna's supremacy, to that extent one can realize Lord as Parthasarathi in one's own life. Like our body is compared to a chariot. Body is and the mind is compared to the reins. So that particular comparison is there of the chariot and the body. So to the extent one comes to that true ego, that how the Supreme Lord is the charioteer. I'm not the controller. Supreme Lord is the controller. To that extent, one can realize and understand Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also. So the main point Shastras mentioned by these different examples is coming to the true ego. It analyzes the consciousness of false ego and true ego. So it is a true ego that is needed, that servitude. So there is one of the very important aspect in relation to Sri Sampradaya. So, I mean, the relation between Sri Sampradaya and the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. So, like I'm speaking in relation to this true ego, how the more one becomes purer and purer, the more one realizes the supremacy of Lord and one understands Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So there are before Sripad Ramanujacharya is 1000 years before. So 1006 years before, because 1017. So and 1500 years before, there are all these divine alvars. Just like we have 6 Goswamis, there are 12 alvars in Sri Sampradaya. So one of the very great alvar was Namma Alvar. Is a very, very exalted personality, Namma Alvar. So, in fact, I was so exalted that there is a pastime of the Utsav Vigraha of Ranganath and Utsav Vigraha of Ranganayaki, like both of them quarreling with each other. And when Namma Alvar comes there, the quarreling stops. Very, very exalted personality. I mean, the divine quarreling of the Supreme Lord and the pleasure potency. So, Namma Alvar, there is a book by one of one of our ISKCON devotee, Sridhar Srinivas Prabhu. So that book is a divine prophecy, Sri Nammalvar's prediction on Lord Chaitanya. So, um, so there is a actually the 12 Alvars, all their different Vaishnava songs, they are called as Nalayar Divya Prabandham. 4,000 divine compositions. So the fourth of 1,000 Pashurams, one of the subunit, one of the part of this Nalayar Divya Prabandham, this 4,000 slokas. So it where Nammalvar mentions about Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Sri Nammalvar, who appeared at the very beginning of Kali Yuga, is the incarnation of Lord Sri Vishwaksena, the commander-in-chief of the Vaikuntha world. In his prophetic poetry, Nammalvar predicted the golden avatar, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and also described the golden avatar Sankirtan movement that would utterly destroy the present satanic system. The following translations are from a divine prophecy, which is Sri Nammalvar's prediction on Lord Chaitanya. So this is a book actually by our ISKCON devotee. He's a disciple of Param Pujya Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj. So he has written this in 2017. So Acharan Prabhu knows about this particular book. So he released in Minto Park that time. So the Lord of Vaikuntha has incarnated as his devotee. He is miraculously present everywhere, and his incomparable and unsurpassed activities alone occupy my vision. Have no doubts, if you are born as asuras or rakshasas, engrossed in sense gratification, there is no way for you to live and will certainly be destroyed. This is about this from this part of Nalayar Divya Prabandham, that is Tiruvai Molli 5.2.5. It is also called as Tiruvai Mozi. So in the above verse, Sri Nammalvar describes miraculous events. Maitinal Engum Mani. This is Tamil. So it is the description, which is beyond comparison. Ukendra Tivula Gattu, which will destroy the Asuric presence. 𝐂𝐻𝐌𝐌𝐔𝐍𝐈𝐓𝐘, as quickly as the Asuras can wreak chaos and destruction in the world, so the Lord can miraculously restore it. So in the next verse, Nammalvar describes the great changes that will come in the world. The Supreme Lord, the holder of the Sudarshana disc, has come himself in the form of his devotees to rid the world of the soul-consuming disease, war, hunger, and evil. He is traveling all over the world, singing in joy and dancing. O worldly-minded people, cease your engagements in sense gratification. Go worship him with full consciousness and dedicate your life and soul. So this is from Tiruvai Molli 5.2.6. So the ill effects of Kali Yuga have ceased and a new golden age of Sankirtan Yajna has begun. The demigods have also joined the movement and the whole world is flooded with love of Godhead. The devotees of Kadal Vannan have entered and occupied every corner of the earth and are singing the name, fame and the glories of the Lord with great joy and enchantment. So this is from Tiruvai Molli 5.2.3. So the most important point is how this true ego, it helps us one understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead in complete tattva. So it is very important that these two aspects which were been mentioned in Sri Sampradaya, that reading the Shastras in the humble mood is what is very important. Then there will be revelations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Or else one will be totally blurred up about that very same Shastric statement. Like we can see this statements of Yadav Prakash, how he was so offensively describing about when he heard about description of Supreme Lord's eye. So the final days of Sripad Ramanujacharya. So I'll just conclude with that. So he tells this, he gives this last instruction that the greatest and the worst enemy is the Bhagavad Aparad and the Vaishnava Aparad. And so we have to be very, very careful what we say and what we do. So, and then the five different instructions Sripad tells us: worshipping Ranganath, being united with the Vaishnavas, and serve devotees with great care, study the Vaishnava scriptures, and guard against offenses. And of course, he tells about the point of how Mother Sita, because of, in her pastime, because of trespassing the Supreme Lord Lakshman by offending, had to associate with the demons for many, many months, 10 months, 10 months, something like that. And there is a pastime of Viuda Gorilla also offending, trespassing Balramji, trespassing Lakshmana, and because of which he had to associate with Narakasur, and he got into a different consciousness. So, and of course, with all the disciples chanting holy names, Sripad Ramanujacharya gave this essence, that the most important essence is the holy names, and highest goal is unmotivated devotional service. So, and he initiated around 700 sannyasis and 12,000 brahmacharis, and of course thousands of householders, including kings and very, very wealthy landowners. So he traveled extensively all over India, and he fulfilled the desire of Yamunacharya. In fact, there is a very amazing pastime of meeting of Yamunacharya and Sripad Ramanujacharya. Very, very historical pastime that took place in Kanchipuram. So when Sripad Ramanujacharya was, when he was in the school along with Yadav Prakash, so Yadav Prakash kept his hand on Sripad, on the shoulder of Sripad, and he was walking by. And Yamunacharya came for a yatra leaving Srirangam to Kanchipuram. That time, when he knows that he already heard about Sripad Ramanujacharya by reading his divine poetry on Supreme Lord. So he understood his divine qualities. And when he saw him from a distance, he understood, that it was such an exalted personality. But he felt very pained that he was along with, he was in the association of this bad people. And then he prayed to Varadraj. And soon, few days after that, Sripad Ramanujacharya was been expelled from the school of Yadav Prakash. There is a final confrontation, and he was expelled. So, and after the pastime of meeting Kanchipurna, and Kanchipurna directing him to Mahapurna. So Mahapurna, he instructs him. Actually, he's been sent by Yamunacharya, and he instructs him in different in the sciences of in the divine science. And by the time when he hears that Yamunacharya was in the last days, and he starts walking by from Kanchipuram to Srirangam, those days, walking. In his pastimes, when he's walking by, and when he's about to reach, then Yamunacharya by the time concludes his pastimes externally, but he'll have this particular symbol, symbol like this. So, and then Sripad Ramanujacharya meditates very intensely, and he starts saying that to fulfill the desire of, he understands the desire of Yamunacharya, and he tells that he'll preach all over India to establish the Siddhanta of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That how Supreme Lord is Supreme is personality of Godhead. So that particular statement, with that particular statement, one of the finger opens, and everybody is shocked with that. And then he tells, in order to establish this Siddhanta, uh, Sripad says that he'll write Sri Bhashya, and then another finger opens up, and again everybody is like, again they came to life. And finally he says, I'll in order to glorify Parasara, who has written Vishnu Purana. So in order to glorify him, I'll name the successor as on the name of Parasara, with the name of Parasara. So of course, there is Parasara Bhatta, and then the final finger opens up. So he understands the desire of Ramanujacharya. So and he travels extensively all over India and preaches and establishes like never before in the in the history. He establishes the personality supremacy of personality of Godhead. So I just spoke whatever I heard according to my capacity. So श्रीपाद रामानुजाचार्य की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. हरे कृष्णा.